welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a little bit of a watercolor painting and I want to talk to you about my dreams. I know this was a trend in the orthodox community a very long time ago, from back before I'd even heard about the orthodox community in the first place, and it's been on my video idea list for a long time now. I originally had this overly ambitious digital painting idea in mind to go hand in hand with this video. But then I realized I had this watercolor footage sitting around that I had zero voiceover ideas for, and that is literally the perfect match for this topic. This painting was inspired, or rather copied from, a photo I took in Fushimi-inari, which is a shrine in Kyoto and probably one of my favorite places in all of Japan. And in case you're confused by the seemingly random bits of colorful paper strings hanging off this particular shrine, this is known as the senbatsuru, which literally translates to 1000 cranes. In Japan, it is said that completing 1000 origami cranes will grant you a wish. The chains of paper cranes are hanged up by shrines, exposed to the elements where they can fade away in the wind and the rain as a symbol of the wish being released. It's a popular gift for people that are very sick as a get better prayer, but they're meant to work for any type of wish. And I may not have folded 1000 origami cranes, but I did paint them. So maybe adding my list of wildest dreams and wishes to this particular time-lapse will bring me luck, who knows. I have a slightly silly amount of dreams in a bunch of different categories, some of which are contradictory to each other. Because we all know it's not actually possible to do more than one thing full-time and still sleep, but here I am wanting to do 5 things full-time in a single person. In the past, I have tended to have a lot of imposter syndrome attached to my dreams. I say in the past, I still do have a lot of imposter syndrome attached to my dreams, primarily because of the fact that I have so many different unrelated ones. We always hear the advice that you should focus on only one thing and that perfecting that one thing alone and staying away from distractions is the right strategy. But I get bored easily, and I don't think I'd be happy if I only ever worked on a single thing. So I've been really trying to embrace the fact that I'm always working on multiple things rather than always having a single public-facing dream and hiding everything else behind closed curtains, and then always changing what the public-facing dream is. So I am going to be discussing dreams across different categories, but let's start with writing related, shall we? Originally, my wildest dream was to publish a book that I had both written and done book cover art for, and maybe also chapter art to be extra ambitious. And this is something that always seemed so far away and impossibly insurmountable, until I realized that if I self-publish, which I intend to do anyway, I could literally do it in a month. Sure, it would be a terrible book with a terrible cover, but technically, I could do it in a month. And that's what counts. So let's go a little bit wilder, shall we? Pre-order campaigns. You know, the ones where you give away character art and posters and merch related to your book. I really want to do that. Not necessarily super realistic if I self-publish and organize it myself and draw it all myself, which again I would probably do anyway. And the realistic part here comes from the fact that ideally I want to be able to do this and not make a massive loss of money. So I would need to know that enough people are going to pre-order the book so that I can get all of this art printed and make some bookmarks and make all sorts of little things without making a massive loss of money. A little loss of money would be acceptable. I don't even have to break even, just not spend all my money on giving people free stuff. I don't think I'm being very optimistic today, so how about this one? I would love for someone to either ship my characters or make up little stories of my characters, either as fan art or fanfiction. I don't actually read much fanfiction, so fan art would definitely be the preferred method for me, like the tiny little Instagram comics where there's like a couple of sentences for each character that are super fluffy and probably won't even match what my characters would normally say. But there's a little doodle of my character next to it, so they must be saying those things, and it's adorable, and I want people to make that for me. But also literally any type of fan art or fanfiction would make me so happy, so. Next, I would love for a booktuber that I haven't directly contacted and sent a free copy of my book to talk about my book on their channel. This doesn't have to be anything big, just like a monthly wrap-up type video where they briefly mention that they read my book. The key here is that it's not someone that I've specifically sent the book to. It's someone that just saw the book, was interested in it, and thought it was cool and picked it up and then liked enough to mention it in a video, which probably doesn't happen a lot for small indie authors, but it'd be nice. And if we're going full on wild here, a Netflix series or movie adaptation would be absolutely brilliant because of the aesthetic / slightly experimental nature of the book I'm currently writing. I'm not very sure that a visual representation would work very well, unless it was a tiny indie director wanting to do a super experimental movie adaptation of it, which is highly unlikely. Not that it's a lot more likely for any of my other book ideas to be made into movies or series, but at least it's a lot more possible to film stuff for my other ideas if someone wanted to. And the final writing slash publishing related dream is to have someone ask me to sign a copy of my book for them. When I was in school, we used to occasionally have to read local tiny authors for class, and then they'd come over to the school and do this big talk, and I'd always make sure to take my book with me and ask them to sign it afterwards. And every time I did this, the authors would get so happy because most people wouldn't actually do this. Like, out of 100 people in the audience, only maybe 5 would bother to ask for a signature. And the authors got so happy, and I always thought one day I want to be the person sitting there and signing other people's books. My stories aren't necessarily super appropriate as a book to read for school, but maybe someone recognizing me at a bookstore or a book event or something and wanting their copy signed would be so amazing. And of course, on top of that, I also have a whole bunch of non-writing dreams as well. I still have the ambition of getting back into game development one day, even though I know that I don't realistically have the time for another massively ambitious project right now. And I've technically already published a game, so I can't list that as a dream, but publishing a game on Steam would be a dream. Which really means I want to make a game that is good enough to be published on Steam. I would also, moving on to art dreams here, love to have a little Etsy shop and sell my own sticker designs and generic cute stationery and prints and cute items and all that sort of stuff. And I'd like to be able to sell enough prints that I can then make a super aesthetically pleasing ASMR or the packaging studio vlog. And then if I never sell anything again, that's okay. I just need to make enough sales in the first couple of weeks to put together a super pretty looking studio vlog, and then I'm happy. More ambitiously, I would love to get an art book published. I don't think this is something I would self-publish, unlike a fiction book. I would love to get ideally 3 total, but I am flexible on this, to pick up my art and put it into a gorgeous book and organize a massive Kickstarter campaign for me with extra cute prints and all of those shenanigans that I seem to be slightly obsessed with. I also have a couple of comic book ideas floating around. I'm not sure if I can call getting those published a dream or not, because I have no intention of actually working on them anytime soon or ever really. The only occasion in which I would work on them would be as a side project, if I was a full-time author slash artist slash game developer slash generic creative person and had the time and mental capacity for an extra side project. But seeing as all of my main dreams are side projects right now, I probably shouldn't be adding another one to the list. Also, being a full-time author slash artist slash game developer slash generic creative person would be the absolute dream. Just being able to full-time work on any project that tickles my fancy, in all of the different categories, all the different things. I want to do everything, and I want to do it full-time, basically. Also, as a side dream to the comic book project, I would love to also work on a manga one day and to actually write it in Japanese, which is rather ambitious considering my Japanese is incredibly rusty, and I was never very good at it in the first place. And I just had another look at my bucket list just to make sure I definitely wasn't forgetting anything, and I did forget something. This one's probably the least realistic one on the list, partially because of the current world situation, but also it's just irrealistic in general. But I would love to one day participate in some form of ice skating competition or ice skating show of some form. Unfortunately, the current world situation, plus the gap year that preceded that world situation, means that it's been 2 years since I last ice skated. So I'm going to be very rusty when I eventually make it back on the ring. I should probably go work out or something after I finish filming this video. So there we go, that is all of my dreams, so at least all of my dreams as of right now, because they do seem to multiply whenever I'm not looking. I hope you found this interesting in some way. I hope it got you a little bit excited to go work on some of your dreams and go put some effort into making these wild, goose chasey dreams a reality. I am going to be linking some of the AuthorTube trend publishing dream videos that I looked at for inspiration in the description of this, so feel free to look at those if you want to. For now, I will be leaving you with however much is left of this time lapse, which probably won't be very long because I feel like I've been talking for ages. But the me of the past is gonna finish drawing all of these origami cranes so that my dreams can come true, and I hope that yours do as well. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Feel free to tell me what some of your dreams are, although if you're watching this from AuthorTube, you've probably already made this video at some point. So feel free to tell me if you have and I'll check it out. That might be easier. I make art and writing videos every second Wednesday, so feel free to stick around for those, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye.